Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Cryptoware. So today we are going to analyze Wannacry using X32 debugger. You may choose any debugger of your choice and we'll again try to keep it as simple as possible. We have previously analyzed Locky ransomware, but the Locky ransomware was not successful because of the reason that I had mentioned before in my previous videos, that it needs to connect to the server, to the C2 server, before starting the process of encryption, which is not the case with Wannacry. And why we have chosen a simple Wannacry? Because it is simple and we are in the process of learning. We'll get into the advanced part or the more complicated kind of malware samples uh, later on. With time, we will learn about those complexities as well. For now, this is also not as simple, but we will get started from here. So you may open a procmon or a process hacker along with using X32 debugger that I have done before, but I do not want it to slow down. So that is the reason I'm just using debugger for now, X32 debugger. So there are some breakpoints that I have already set. So if you see over here, that is debugger present, write file, read file. These are um, some of the calls that we had observed in our previous video also, that Wannacry was trying to make. There are some other breakpoints also that we have set, which is based on like see virtual alloc, virtual protect. Some of them are related to registry keys, but we are more interested in what it actually does. If you want, you can set some breakpoints um, related to those crypto algorithms as well. But we will not be actually setting breakpoint there. We'll set the breakpoint in those applications or in those functions in a while, not now. For the starters, we are just going to go through these and see how it behaves. So we know Wannacry drops a number of components, and that's what we are going to observe right now. So I'll run and I'll see that it is using some Wannacryptor is mentioned over here. Some software we can, if you want, we can go through them, or we can simply just run at different and stop at different breakpoints and see what is happening. This could be a kind of password. We see attrib plus h dot this. So as you see that I've set a breakpoint over here also. So what this attrib plus h does, as it is trying to hide something, hide a folder, hide the files, so that we are not able to see the hidden directories for obvious reasons, because they are hidden. So we'll just see what is happening. Let's see some file attributes. Just run. There's a write file. This is something that we had observed. Meanwhile, we'll keep looking at the main folder. This is the main folder, which is in desktop ransomware.wannacry, which we cannot see here, but it's in the desktop. If you can see from here, that is fine. We'll just click on continue, so that we can see what is happening. So a number of write file operations is happening. You can see from here, and you keep looking at the folder over here. So after doing so many write file, we see that b.wannacry is finally written. What we can do at this point is we can open it in PE Studio and see what b.wannacry is. Now it may take a while because we know that WannaCry has a number of components. It drops a number of components. So we can simply have a look at it. Okay. Something seems to be wrong, but let's see. Okay. So it's some WannaCrypto. It's related to WannaCry. It's not a PE file. We can try opening it in Notepad and see what it is. Lots of crypted information data. Let's see where, if it's, if there's something more getting added to it or not. So what we see is it is again trying to call get file attributes A, and this time it is writing another file mostly. So here you can see after executing get file attributes A, it drops another file. I mean the name of the file, or maybe it is creating a kind of file, and then it is writing to that file. What we can do is we can actually check what get files attributes A does. So it retrieves file system attributes for a specific file or directory, and that is the reason why it is called. So the parameter, I mean, that it has is name of the file. So that is what we are seeing. So that is why it is called, and we can see that whenever it is getting called, we can understand that a new file name is there, which is supposed to be dropped over there in the folder. It is the same folder from where I am trying to execute the sample, from where I'm trying to open it in debugger. So we'll again do this write file. I think it is done. Yes, so it's a 1 KB. We can open it, see what information is there. We can see some onion links. So that is also interesting. You can check this on VT if you want. There's another get file attributes A. So there's something else that is supposed to get dropped. Let's run. Okay. So this is another folder, and it is writing. So let's see. So this is the first. So now the thing is that we are observing that whenever there is a breakpoint on write file, some file gets dropped. Okay, some file is getting created. Okay, now it is supposed to write, that is why it's 0 KB. It has just been created. But if you keep doing step over, you can see that where it is getting created, which file name is it. So from here also you can actually see. So you keep doing continuous step over and you will see everything, all information. So you can keep going step over. It will call NT write file. Let's see. We'll keep checking over there also. We are not trying to understand or decode each and everything present here in the assembly. We are just observing. So this will also help you in understanding like which specific function call does what. So this is going to help us understand in certain things. So if I click on direct write file again, so I think it has completely been written. Yeah, 47 KB it is. We can open it in Notepad and we can see it's some kind of RTF, and we saw some of its content. So we can also identify what is getting written in onto a file. So this is going to take a while. because if you see, yes, another file. So there is supposed to be a number of files over here that gets created and then written. So you can just keep doing this. So this is done. This is 54 KB. You can again open this and you can see this is another RTF file. We are not going to open anything in their using their actual extensions, but we are trying to understand what they could be, because when they'll be used later on, if they are, then we can identify what is happening over there. So let me quickly get all of them created, and then we'll move on to the next part of it. So you can see this is still going on. Here it is. So since this is English, we can actually look at it, what is happening over here. You can decrypt some of the files, try some clicking. So this is a kind of ransom note most probably, and there are some other details. We are not going to check each and everything. As I have mentioned, that we will be seeing, we are just observing and trying to understand what is happening. We are not decoding anything. There are few things that we have already observed, like WannaCry drops a number of components. So right now it is in that phase. It has not started with the process of encryption yet because we do not see any encryption happening as of now. It tries to hide something. We can see that the current desktop folder is not visible in the desktop. So maybe it is trying to hide itself, or we will check that after a while whether it is actually doing that or not. Okay, we will have to be sure about it. So there are few things that also we can observe right now is again get file attributes A. So here from the stack also you can keep an eye of which folder it is trying to where it is actually trying to create it to. So you cannot just keep randomly keep on clicking on the continue option or the run option unless um, otherwise in the end what may happen that you end up executing the sample completely. So we have to keep an eye at everything. Even here you can see that the message folder is mentioned, so we'll keep an eye over there. Now we can see that which file is getting dropped. It is m underscore filipino dot wannacry. So once we click on run, we will see that yes, this is the file which is getting dropped. So here what I am trying to show you is how you can observe using a debugger and observe all the things that a sample is trying to do. Here this is not very much specific to only malware. Even if you want to analyze some kind of application, like for example for performing reverse engineering, those crack me challenges, so even in those cases you will have to keep an eye at everything to observe what is happening. So using a debugger you can actually see which file is supposed to get dropped, what is actually going to get added, in what way is it going to get added. So these are some things. So this is quite simpler as compared to the complex malware that we are going to analyze later on. So that is why we can actually give it a try to understand, and that is why I've chosen WannaCry, so that it gets easier for us to understand what to look for. So in the right file again you can see that RTF things that we had observed at that point of time before also, that how it looks like an RTF folder. See all those data is supposed to get added mostly over here, which needs to be written, and I think it is done. So we'll see it, and yes, everything is written. If you want you can actually do some kind of comparison also, and I think it is written in that specific language, I think Filipino. Yes, so in different language it is writing those ransom notes, and mostly it is using RTF. So okay, so it is going to use a number of languages over here, so a number of files are going to get created. So let us just get done with it. and then we'll see at the next section. So here we are done with the language folder. If you want to see, so there are 28, in 28 languages it is trying to write the ransom note. That is what I'm guessing right now because I've observed the ransom note. And since it is language specific, so it is supposed to be that. So maybe this is something that it will be using later on. So for using that as well, it is supposed to check which language or region specific the keyboard is, or the device is. These are some of the very basic checks that a malware would anyway do. Now, moving ahead, is we see get file attributes A again, and this time we see r.wannacry. So we'll again click on continue, and here we can see what's wrong with my files, and this is the ransom note. So r.wannacry is going to be created in the ransomware.wannacry folder from where I have actually done the execution. Okay, so sorry, yeah. So this r.wannacry is supposed to be the main ransom node that we have observed before. So this is right file. If you want to go step over step, so you can see each steps how it is moving and adding it, writing it to the file basically. So you can go through it and you can try doing that on your own, or you can directly click on continue, because I've been doing this for a lot of a really long time. So there's another get file attribute say, and here it says it is s.wannacry. And once we click on continue, we see that it gets created. Yes. So even for file attributes as well, you can, go step over or step into whatever to see how each step is required. So it is going to help you with understanding how these calls happen. It's not a very direct call that you have written the way we see a Python or a C code or any code that is written in any language. What we observe, that whenever we are clicking on the or writing a print function, something is getting printed, but in the backend a lot of things are happening. And if you want to understand that thing, then it's a very good idea to do step overs and step intos to understand. So I'm not going to do step overs and step intos right now, but that's why I've set some basic breakpoints to understand what are the things that are happening. So S dot WannaCry is taking some time, it looks like. If you want, we can see if there's anything interesting that we may have missed. Nothing of that sort. Let's go ahead. So after a number of write files, we see that another file which is getting created is t.wannacry. But I think we have missed opening these files. So we'll open r.wannacry. So we were right about the ransom note thing. This is the final ransom note that we generally observe. Um, and s.wannacry. So let's see what s.wannacry is. So one thing that we have very rightfully observed is that WannaCry does create all its components or drops all its components, including the ransom notes and everything. It has some cryptors as well before performing the process of encryption. Now, this is this does not have to be the same for all kinds of ransomwares, but this is good enough for us to understand a generic overview of how a ransomware would work actually and how it would look like. So here it is a PK, so mostly it's a zip kind of file. We are not going to unzip anything. We'll see where is it getting used. There is t.wannacry as well. So if you want to see if you want to do step over step intos for this, you can do that as well, or we can directly click on continue, and this is something getting written over there. Let's just see what is there in t.wannacry. Okay, you cannot open it, my bad. Okay, so there are lots of things that are supposed to get written over here. So just let's keep clicking on write files. Yes, I think we are done, and there is task dl.exe also that is supposed to get created. But before, let's open t.wannacry, and yes, this is what we saw, and the rest of the part looks very encrypted kind of thing, and that is fine. As I mentioned before, we are not going to analyze them, but we are just here for observation. So we see another exe file is getting created, which is task.dl.exe. And so WannaCry has a lot of components, and task.dl.exe is done. Since it is an exe file, so what we can do is we can check it in P Studio. You can actually, if you want, you can check the other files also in P Studio, but I don't think a lot of information will get, because it is more specific to portable executables, mostly the executables. So you can see that it's the entropy is very less, and this is Wannacryptor. Is it the one which is going to perform encryption? We are not sure about it, but it has a very good score over here, and it is totally, it is not packed or anything. Okay, so there's another file that is also getting created, so we'll click on it. Yes, task se.exe. Okay, there's another file u.wannacry which is also getting created, and this is also having 20 KB as its size. Let's see this also. And its entropy is slightly lesser than this, but both are not at all packed. The VT score is pretty same for both of them. It is wait.exe. It's a GUI. So these could be the ones which are like, I think, those kinds of applications, that GUI application which was saying that this amount of time is left for you to, pay the ransom. Those kind of application, mostly they would be. I'm just guessing. I have not opened anything yet. I'm just checking and I'm just guessing. So this here u.wannacry is another file that is going to get created. Let's see. Yes, the file got created. Right file. Okay, there's a lot of information that is getting written, it seems. Okay, so there's c.wannacry also. Did we miss anything? Let's just see what's there in u.wannacry. Okay, u.wannacry seems to be some portable executable. We'll open this also. Doesn't it remind us of those languages that we saw in the message section, those files which were getting created? Okay, this is also GUI. It has 67. This is the Wanna crypto, or maybe this is the main exe file, or maybe this is the unpacked exe file u.wannacry. Could be. We are not sure, but we are going to see now. Now it is opening c.wannacry mostly. Let's just go with the flow now. Now we are not going to run everything. I think the sample has is actually done with all the components that it is supposed to drop. So we will not do step like we'll not continue or directly run. We can actually go ahead slowly to see what is happening. So it has opened c.wannacry and we want to see what was there in c.wannacry. Okay, it had an onion link. Okay, let's see. And also, if you want, you can see there's some more interesting things over here. It is creating some process. It is using this. As far as I know, it is some sort of password, but we are not supposed to enter password anywhere. These are interesting. Okay, let's run only. Okay, so it is opening c.wannacry. This is what we had observed. Okay, so now we move on to attrib dot sorry plus h. As I had mentioned, that it is used to provide a hidden attribute to a folder or a file. So we want to hide the folder or the file, whatever we mention over here. So you can see some more interesting uh, commands are mentioned. There's task start, so it is going to start something. So I've already put a breakpoint over here. So I think we, instead of step overs, we can actually click on run and we can see. Okay, so it is actually running. Let's observe. Meanwhile, also keep an eye everywhere, so whenever it is trying to access any folder or anything, we will be able to see. Now we can see that it is using crypt import key. Again, as I had mentioned, that we are not trying to encrypt or decrypt something, but we are trying to understand. So what is happening? Why is it using crypt import key? So it is trying to take the process address. It is pushing crypt encrypt. It has not started with the encryption or something right now, but it's just using generate key. Okay. So this is something that we had observed in case of Locky ransomware also. So whenever they're using some RSA or AES cryptographic algorithms, these are some things that we observe, and that is how we know or we can identify some commonality between different ransomware families. Okay, so now we are moving to read file. Okay, so if we see that is it trying to read the t.wannacry file, and if let's see what was there in t.wannacry file. Okay, this was slightly encrypted kind of thing. Let's just keep moving. Let's see. It is only reading this file. Okay, so after reading that file, so the first thing that it has done is it has read that file, and then we have virtual alloc. So let's see what is there in virtual alloc. We'll execute it till return, follow it in dump, click on run. Okay, we'll again execute it till return, follow it in dump, and yeah, we see some mz file. So what we will do is, sorry, we'll follow it in memory map, and here we'll dump the memory to file. We can directly dump it in desktop as well if you want. From the desktop we can actually see this file if you want. So we'll open it in P Studio. Also 64 KB it is. We can see if we have anything in 64. No, we have in 65. But it was reading which file? T.WannaCry, right? Okay, it's a GUI. Okay, I don't think this is the same. Or maybe it is not done yet, maybe with the dumping of the entire contents. We're not sure of it. Let's just keep going with the flow. So execute till return, follow it in dump, run. Okay, so there's some more information, something is getting dumped. So instead of directly it into memory, let's just go through it and observe if there's anything interesting for us. Okay, we'll again execute it till run and dump, following dump, and click on run. So okay, it is still not done, but there are number of allocation that is happening. So there are a number of data that is getting added over here. Again, we'll keep checking. Okay, now you can see certain things are readable now, like get current directory, get computer name. Okay, okay, we are here as of now. That is fine. We'll again do execute till return. Sorry, we'll dump it in following dump. Okay, so here we can see c.wannacry wbrb. This, so there is a mention of some bat file. We don't have any bat file over here, right? I mean here, not yet. Okay, okay, that is interesting. And what else do we observe? Some key CRTPEM. Okay, so maybe something is happening. Let's see what is happening. Again, execute it till return and then follow it in dump and run. There's something more, some more information and padding. We did observe this also before. If we, so this is another PE file. Okay, no, this is the one. We have to follow it in dump. Yeah, here it is. We have to run and here it is. Yeah. Okay. So this is the main PE file. Okay, okay. And then we have virtual protect. Let's dump this file now. Following memory map. And this is not having any executable permission and we just saw virtual protect. Okay, okay, I think I dumped it in a wrong folder. I'll dump it in desktop. Yeah, for ease. Let's check in the desktop. Okay, it's still the same, nothing has happened, I guess. Okay, never mind. The virtual protect, so it is changing the permission. So if you keep scrolling below, we can still see some interesting information that we had observed, which will give us an idea of what is there. Okay, so wanna decryptor at the rate bmp. Okay, bmp is the image that it would use. It will also be having that ransom note text kind of thing. You can see readme at the rate txt, wanna decryptor at the rate txt. So these are some of the very interesting information. If you want, what we can do is we can copy paste from here. We can see some usage of keys are also mentioned. Some mention of batch file. Maybe it is trying to do something. Maybe it is trying to drop another batch file. Could be. possibly. Okay, okay. Let's open Notepad. Okay, so here we can read it in a better way. Readme txt, some tll, wanna decryptor. So there are lots of things that it is trying to do. Modifying. It will reduce protection, local setting, app data. Interesting. Okay, fine. There's some more information here. Okay, there's another interesting thing that I've observed. Let me just let's see if we can just copy the selected lines. Okay. So some interesting things to observe, okay, could be related to mutex. So there's command.exe slash c reg address. So say there is some kind of registry key changes that is happening. This is the run. Run is used for gaining persistence. We see that some tasks e.exe is going to be there. So wanna decryptor.exe tasks che is something .exe is something there. We did not observe tasks che, right? This was not there. So this is one thing very interesting. We see some lnk file also, the mention of a lnk file. So it is going to create some shortcut files most probably. There's a mention of VBS file too. So here it is trying to create shortcut. So the next execution, whatever we have observed right now, the next execution that is going to happen is going to run another script, which will create a shortcut file, which is actually making changes, going to make some changes in the registry key as well. We can actually keep an eye in this registry key path. It is going to execute some script, I mean VB script kind of commands. Then it is going to delete itself. We see u.wannacry is being used, some mention of Bitcoin, r.wannacry. We remember that it was that ransom note. At trip plus h, it is going to hide something. So there is also mention of task kill.exe, sql writer.exe. So there are lots of things that are going to happen. So let's go. So it has changed the executable permissions and things are going to happen now. We are going to observe it from here and from the paths that are mentioned here. So let's just. Well, my VM restarted, so there's nothing to worry about. We are going to get to the next part because till now we have covered what all components WannaCry actually drops. Now we are going to get ahead what happens after all those virtual protect and all those interesting command line arguments that we have observed. So it is trying to create some shortcuts. It is trying to create some registry keys for persistence. So it is going to execute some VB scripts as well. So we are going to observe them all now, and we are going to start from the next section, which is task start that we have observed till now. So that's it for today. We are going to continue this analysis in the next video of mine. Till now, please, till then, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel Cryptoware. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll keep analyzing more and more malware samples, mostly the interesting ones, and we'll gradually move towards the complex part as well. Bye.